All right, get ready to have your minds blown, because today we're going deep on a theory that kind of flips the Big Bang on its head.
It's a pretty wild idea, right? Instead of an explosion from nothing, this theory says the universe began with a massive tear in pure energy.
So not a bang, but more like a cosmic rip.
Exactly. And we're not talking about a tiny amount of energy here.
How much you talking?
Try 1.5 by 10 and 69 joules. That's a 1.5 with 69 zeros after it.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot.
It's basically unimaginable, and this energy wasn't just floating around in space.
So what was it like? What was there before the universe as we know it?
It's tough to describe because it wasn't space or time as we understand them.
So no dimensions, no stars, no planets, just dot energy.
Think of it as pure potential, everything packed together in a state of perfect balance.
Okay, I'm picturing like a tightly wound spring, all that energy coiled up, ready to unleash.
That's a good analogy. And then something disrupted this balance, causing a tear that sent energy scattering outward.
And that's what we perceive as the Big Bang.
Exactly. But instead of expanding from a single point, it's spreading out from this massive rip.
Okay, that's starting to make sense. But what could possibly cause a tear in something so fundamental?
That's where quantum physics comes in.
Oh boy, here we go.
Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Basically, this theory proposes that a massive quantum wave, like a ripple in the fabric of reality itself, disrupted that initial energy state.
So something incredibly small triggered a reaction of incredible scale.
It's kind of like a domino effect.
One tiny domino knocking down a whole skyscraper.
Exactly. And the energy released from this tear formed the building blocks of everything we see today.
So quarks, electrons, eventually stars, planets, all from this cosmic rip.
Precisely. And this theory could actually explain some of the things that puzzle scientists about the universe.
Like what?
Well, for example, the way galaxies spin. It might not be random. It could be a direct result of how energy was flung outward during this initial tear.
Okay, I'm picturing a spinning top, and when it breaks, the pieces fly off in a particular pattern based on that initial spin.
That's a great way to visualize it. And another mystery that this theory tackles is black holes.
Those cosmic vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, but they might be more than just that.
What do you mean?
Well, in this model, black holes could actually be points where the universe is trying to pull itself back together.
So like Doc Cosmic Stitches trying to mend the tear.
Exactly. It all comes back to the idea of balance.
Balance, that seems to be the key concept here.
Right. The universe, even as it expands, seems to be constantly striving for a return to that original state of equilibrium, that perfect balance it had before the tear.
Makes me think of the four fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces.
Absolutely. Those forces are like the universe's constant gardeners, shaping and pruning, trying to restore a kind of cosmic harmony.
So it's like a giant tug of war, with these forces constantly pushing and pulling, trying to find that sweet spot of balance.
That's a great analogy. And then we have dark matter and dark energy.
Ah, yes, the big mysteries.
Right, and this theory suggests they might be remnants of that initial quantum wave tear or even side effects of the universe's attempt to regain balance.
So these mysterious forces that make up most of the universe could actually be echoes of that ancient event. That's incredible.
It is, and I bet you're wondering if there's an equation that tries to explain all of this.
Well, it wouldn't be a real deep dive without one, right?
You know it. The equation is U equal C plus UN, and it's a pretty heady one.
Break it down for me. What are all those symbols and letters trying to tell us?
Well, U represents the total energy of the universe we see today, all the stars, galaxies, everything. And S stands for the magnitude of that initial energy state before the tear, like a measure of how intense that cosmic wound was.
And that part with the E and the Greek letters.
That's where things get really interesting. It's called the complex phase factor, and it brings in the weirdness of quantum mechanics. It suggests that the pre-tear state wasn't just one fixed thing, but a mix of possibilities.
Okay, so it's not just about how much energy there was, but also about its potential, the different ways things could have unfolded.
Exactly. And finally, we have QN, which represents all the quantum interactions that influence how the universe evolves.
So that's where dark matter and dark energy might come in.
They could be part of that QN shaping the universe's destiny. So, you see, this equation isn't just a bunch of symbols, it's a snapshot of the universe's entire history, from that pre-tear state to everything we observe today, and it all seems to come back to this idea of balance.
Balance, it's like a universal theme.
It really is, and it makes you think about the universe in a whole new way, doesn't it? Not as a random collection of stuff, but as a system constantly seeking equilibrium.
It's a pretty amazing concept, and it makes me even more curious about what happens next in this cosmic story.
Well, that's what we're going to explore in part 2 of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
I can't wait. This is getting good.
Welcome back, everyone. So last time, we left off talking about this crazy idea. What if the universe didn't start with a bang, but with a rip in a field of pure energy?
And like an insane amount of energy, right?
Oh, yeah, 1.5 by 1069 joules. It's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
Totally. And we talked about how this theory could explain some of the big mysteries of the universe, like how galaxies spin and why black holes exist.
Right. We even touched on that crazy equation that tries to describe it all, but I'm curious about what happens next.
Me too. We talked about the beginning, but what about the end? Does the universe just keep expanding forever?
Well, that's where this theory gets really interesting. See, it's all about balance, right? So even though there was this initial tear and this massive expansion, it doesn't mean it'll just keep going forever.
So it's not just going to fade away into nothingness.
Not necessarily. Think of it like this. The universe expands outwards, driven by the energy from that initial tear and by the push and pull of all those fundamental forces we talked about.
Okay, I'm following.
But as it expands, it also remembers, in a way, its original state, that state of perfect balance before the tear.
Wait, so it's like it's trying to get back to where it started.
Exactly. But it's not like a simple rewind. It's not just going to collapse back into a single point like some theories suggest.
Okay, so no big crunch. So what happens then?
Imagine it more like a merging or a reintegration. As the universe reaches its limit, all those quantum interactions, the ones we represent with that Qn in the equation, they start to become dominant.
Okay.
And dark energy, which is currently pushing everything apart, could start acting differently.
So instead of pushing, it starts pulling.
It's more complex than that. Think of it like the universe gradually remembering its original state, that perfect balance of pure energy.
All right. My brain is working overtime here.
I know, it's a lot. But essentially, the fabric of space-time itself could start to, like, re-knit, drawing everything closer together. Not through gravity, but through this kind of quantum reintegration.
So it's not that things are crashing into each other. They're more like dissolving. Merging back into the energy field.
That's a good way to put it. Even the lines between matter and energy could start to blur.
So galaxies wouldn't collide, they just kind of melt back together.
Exactly. And it wouldn't be the end of everything. Think of it as the beginning of a new cycle.
Whoa, hold on. Are we talking about multiple universes?
Potentially. Imagine this. All the energy from the universe merges back into that balanced state, and then boom, another quantum fluctuation, another tear, and a new universe starts to expand.
So it's like a cosmic heartbeat. Expansion, reintegration, a new tear, and then it all starts again.
It's a wild idea, right? But it fits with this whole concept of a universe that's always seeking balance.
My mind is blown. So each cycle is like a fresh start.
Maybe. And each cycle could even lead to new forms of complexity, new physical laws. Who knows?
Okay, this is a lot to process. We've gone from a tear in an energy field to a universe trying to rebalance itself, to black holes as cosmic stitches, and now to the idea that the universe might be cyclical. But what about us? What happens to humanity in all of this?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's what we'll explore in part 3, so stay tuned.
Okay, so we've gone deep on this quantum wave theory, explored the universe born from a tear, black holes as cosmic stitches, even the possibility of multiple universes.
It's been a wild ride. And now, the big question, what does all this mean for us? For life itself? Do we just blink out when the universe reintegrates?
Yeah, what happens to humanity? The consciousness. Does it disappear?
That's where things get kind of philosophical, even a little beyond what science can currently explain.
So let's speculate. We've talked about consciousness as a product of the universe striving for balance. So could it, like, survive these cosmic cycles?
It's a mind-bending idea, right? If consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality, like this theory suggests, maybe it's not limited to just one universe.
So even as galaxies dissolve, matter merges back into energy. Could there be a spark of awareness that carries on, like a universal consciousness experiencing each cycle?
Some physicists and philosophers actually talk about a cosmic consciousness, a field of awareness throughout all of reality.
So our individual consciousnesses, the me experiencing the world, are like tiny pieces of this bigger cosmic consciousness.
It's one way to think about it. And if that's true, then even as our universe goes through these cycles, that cosmic consciousness could persist, carrying the experiences and lessons of each cycle into the next one.
Whoa. It's like the universe has a memory, and we're all contributing to it. But if this cosmic consciousness is out there, why don't we feel it? Why do we feel so separate?
That's a good question. Maybe it's because our human perception is limited. We're so focused on our own little world that we can't really grasp this vast cosmic consciousness.
It's like we're trying to understand the ocean by looking through a straw. We can only see a tiny piece.
Exactly. But even if we can't fully comprehend this cosmic consciousness, the quantum wave theory suggests we're still connected to it. We're all part of this big interconnected system, and what we do, even the little things, affects the overall balance.
So it's not just about what happens after we die or at the end of the universe. It's about how we live right now, knowing we're part of something so much bigger.
I think that's a really important takeaway. It's about making choices that bring harmony and balance, not just for ourselves, but for everything around us.
It's like we each have a puzzle piece, and how we fit it in affects the whole picture.
I love that analogy. And even though we're dealing with a theory here, not hard facts, I find it incredibly hopeful.
Me too. It's not a cold, empty universe with no meaning. It's a universe of constant change, where endings could be new beginnings.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe as we learn more, as we unlock the secrets of quantum mechanics and consciousness, we'll start to see hints of this cosmic connection, glimpses of that universal awareness.
That would be amazing. It feels like we're on the edge of a whole new understanding of reality, our place in it, and what it all means.
It's a pretty exciting time to be alive, asking these big questions. And even if we never get all the answers, the journey of exploration is what's truly enriching.
Well said. This deep dive has really stretched our thinking, given us a lot to ponder, and filled us with a sense of awe for the universe and all its mysteries.
That's what we aim for with the deep dive. Maybe not concrete answers, but we hope to spark curiosity, get people thinking critically, and create those aha moments that help us see the world in new ways.
So to everyone listening, keep those questions coming. Keep exploring, keep searching for those deeper connections that tie us all together. Who knows what incredible discoveries are waiting for us as we delve deeper into the universe and our own existence.
Keep those brains buzzing, imaginations running wild, and be open to the wonders of the cosmos.
And on that note, that's a wrap for this deep dive.